Hello guys, welcome to this watercolour painting. So I start off with my drawing here. I am using the Derwent Precision 0.7mm pencil just to sketch out my initial drawing. I did want to make this side much more poignant than the right, so I put more detail into that left side to create more emphasis. And then there I wet my paper with my spray bottle and I go in here with the sky to begin with. My board is at a slight angle so the paint can travel down very easily. I'm using the Winsor & Newton paints and I just find they work really well. I've used them in all of my watercolour videos and I really love working with them. I did get a slight bit of feathering there in the sky, but I do kind of like the way it looks. I also like the light I created, putting the darker blue and then keeping the lower part close to the buildings, much more free and brighter with that yellow shade. And then here I block in the buildings initially with a darker tone. I used a bit of a cooler tone and then I added my details here on the roofs just to define the shapes further, leaving some white areas, to indicate windows and highlights. I'm using here my mop brush. It's Unbranded. I bought it very cheap a long time ago, so it's just the perfect shape to use for watercolour in my opinion. And then here I go in, blocking in the water. I do leave quite a lot of white areas as I wanted to show that there was a lot of light being reflected. I just generally mark out the buildings, not being too precise with the reflection, to be honest. Use a mixture of tones just to create a more interesting effect. It's important not to just stick with one colour, as that can look quite boring. Use a darker colour there just to define the base of the buildings there. Using a smaller brush here just to add little points of detail onto the buildings. I do also go in here with much thicker paint and on a slightly drier brush so I can get that more defined look. And I did go in there with a spray bottle again just to allow the water to fade the paint slightly, as I felt it looked a little bit too harsh. And here I just start defining the shapes, bringing out shadows and also the highlights by doing this. Don't be afraid of using your fingers to scratch out bits of colour. It can create certain bits of detail that look really quite nice and interesting. Here I went in with a very dry brush and just added some little bit of detail on the water with a very dark paint. think it really sort of brought some more depth to the water. It was looking quite blank and it didn't have much character to it, but I really like how this sort of felt like it brought it together. I really like this technique of dry brushing. I think it works so well to bring out those little details which wouldn't be as noticeable if you didn't use a dry brush mark to define them. So here I'm just making the final details, and I really like how it turned out, this painting. I really hope you guys liked it as well. If you would leave me a comment, like, and also subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed the experience, hope you found it relaxing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye guys.